What's up, fellas? Is Amex done for? Well, today I'll be beating an already very dead horse, and that's because I'm going to be talking about the rumor changes to the Chase Sapphire Reserve that comes with a higher annual fee and a lot more credits. I literally just got this card a couple weeks ago, and there's already rumors of some big changes coming, so I thought I'd just give my take on the matter. I think I've seen at least 10 videos on my feed about this, so I just want to apologize for adding to that, but I hope I can provide a different perspective on the matter, as I've only watched Joe Beretta's video on the topic and chose not to watch any others in order to not sound like everyone else or follow everyone else's video structure. In this video, I plan to do an overview of the Doctor of Credit article, which I'll link down below, about the rumor changes, but then after that, it's just going to be a lot of math, because I want to see if these new credits are really justifiable or if they really are just useless coupons. So to do this, I'll be comparing the current Chase Sapphire Reserve's annual fee and credits with the rumored annual fee and credits to see which one has a lower effective annual fee. I'll also be comparing this rumored Chase Sapphire Reserve to the Amex Platinum to see which one gives you more value back, and to see if this card could potentially be an Amex Platinum killer. If that sounds like a plan, sit back, grab a drink, and let's get started. So again, shout out to Doctor of Credit for providing all this information in a neat place. The first thing to note is the annual fee, which apparently is going to raise to $795, which as it states is a $245 increase. Now moving on to the supposed multiplier changes, apparently hotel and car rentals are going from 10x to 8x. And for flights booked through Chase Travel, it's going from 5x back to 8x back. Now this is something kind of interesting. You're getting 4x back on flights booked directly as well as hotels booked directly, which you can kind of see is in competition with Amex Platinum's 5x back on flights booked directly. But a big con of this change is that its awesome 3x multiplier on all broad travel is going to be going to 1x. Now let me just preface again by saying these are all rumors, so who knows what's actually going to happen, but I figured this is a pretty big rumor that could change a lot of things in the credit card game, as well as a lot of people's strategies in the game, so I figured I'd talk about it. Now it doesn't say anything about its other multipliers, such as 3x on dining and 10x on Chase dining, but down here it says we haven't been able to verify this with any of our normal Chase sources yet, so above are just the changes. Existing benefits will remain the same. So I'm gonna assume that the 3x on dining is still gonna be on this card, as well as the $300 travel credit, which I'll get into in a second. As for the new credits on this card, there's a lot to go over. Firstly, as I said, the $300 travel credit apparently is gonna be staying, as well as the $300 DoorDash credit via $25 a month. But now for the new credits. So apparently we'll be getting a $500 edit credit, which is basically Chase's form of the Amex FHR credit. Now this is unfortunately going to be broken up in the $250 semi-annual credits, which honestly kind of sucks because all these hotels are super overpriced, but I'll get into that in a little bit. Moving on, we have a $300 dining credit via the Sapphire Reserve tables with a $150 semi-annual. So this kind of reminds me of the Amex Gold Resi credit. You get $100 divided up into two, so $50 in the first half of the year and $50 in the second half. So getting $150 is actually pretty good, but this also concerns me that we might not even be able to use it, because why would Chase just give us this easy of a credit to use? They're probably going to be very selective restaurants in selected big cities, but we'll have to see what comes out of this. You also get a $300 StubHub credit via $150 semi-annually. Now I didn't really know what StubHub was before recording this video, but I found out that it's basically just like Ticketmaster, so you can buy tickets to concerts, games, and comedy shows and stuff like that. So for me, I actually think this is a pretty good credit because me and my girlfriend are always trying to find things to do. Another new credit is $250 towards Apple TV Plus and Apple Music. Now, I could see a lot of people getting value out of this for the people that have Apple Music as well as Apple TV. But personally, for me, I don't have Apple TV and I use Spotify instead of Apple Music. Now, could I move from Spotify to Apple Music to get more value out of this card? Yes, but I really do just like Spotify. We're also seeing a return of Lyft benefits with a $120 credit via $10 a month. Probably never going to use this. Also a $120 Peloton credit via $10 a month, which also I really don't know how I would use. Now here's the kicker. If you spend a measly $75,000 on this card every year, you'll be able to get an additional $500 Southwest credit, Southwest A-list status, IHG One Rewards Diamond Elite status, and a $250 The Shops credit. I'm not even going to go into these because most people are not spending $75,000 a year on the Chase Sapphire Reserve. So overall, they added a lot of credits and benefits, but they also increased the annual fee by $245. So are these credits really worth worth it? Well, that's what I'll be going over in the next section. So I put together a little spreadsheet just to make it really easy to see if these credits are really going to be worth it for me. So I have a section for the current CSR as well as the rumored CSR, so I'll be going over my effective annual fees of both of the cards. So assuming the $300 travel credit has not changed at all, I plan on getting the full $300 value. So I'll just input that here. And that already brings my effective annual fees down to $250 and $495. Next up, we have the $300 in DoorDash credits. So I use the DoorDash credits pretty naturally, but I have to keep in mind that some of the prices on DoorDash are marked up. And also, not every order will I be using the full amount, say if I had a $10 credit and only used $9. So I'll be placing a $250 value on this credit, which I'll input here. So this already brings the current Chase Sapphire Reserve's effective annual fee to $0, but the rumored CSR, I still have $245 of value to make up. So let's see how I can do that. Starting off with the edit credit. So this is $250 semi-annually, meaning I can only use $250 at a time. So I'm going to go over to the edit website to see if I can really do this, or if I'm going to be going out of my way and overspending just to use this credit. See if there's anywhere in Los Angeles. Well, just from looking at this real quick, they look really expensive, so I'm gonna see if I can filter through these a bit. All right, so I mean, there are hotels. I don't know if they look that enticing, and I don't know if I'd ever actually use this. I'd be going out of my way to use this. It does look pretty nice, but just for one day, I really don't know. So for now, I'm gonna be placing a $0 value on this credit, but who knows? Maybe I'll find a weird use case for it. Next up, we have the $300 dining credit via the Sapphire Reserve tables. As I don't know how niche this is, I can't really place a value on it. I feel like I'm gonna be able to because I do live near New York as well as Philadelphia. So I think I might be able to go all out twice a year. So I'm gonna give this a conservative value of $200, even though I might be able to get the full $150 every half of the year. So this brings my effective annual fee to $45. Now we have the StubHub credit, which is pretty interesting for me because I'm always looking to find things to do, as I said before in the video. So I don't know if I should give this the full $300 value. I might give it $250 though, because I mean, just looking at StubHub, we got Theo Vaughn, which I would love to go to, and that said it was only like $46 per ticket. I mean, you have all sorts of sporting events, concert tickets, and here's one of my favorite bands, AJR, that has tickets for just $43. So I think I can pretty easily use a $150 credit every 6 months. So just to be conservative, I'm gonna give this a $250 value, but I think I'd be able to use the full $300. So this puts me now $205 ahead of the annual fee. Now, just looking at this, unless I move from my Spotify over to Apple Music, I'm not going to be getting any value out of this $250 credit, which is kind of upsetting, but I'm going to put 0 there, 0 for Live, 0 for Peloton. So I'm getting $1,000 of value for a $795 annual fee with $205 back in my pocket, which is kind of weird to think about. So even if I got $0 of value out of the dining credit with the Sapphire Reserve tables, I'd still be ahead. Even if I only use $50 of DoorDash credits, I'd still be ahead. This card's got me in a weird spot because you're paying $800 upfront for all these benefits. But I don't know, I think I'd rather just pay for these outright, even if I am getting $200 of positive value. And I'm going to be adding the Amex Platinum to the mix to see if the rumored Chase Sapphire Reserve can give me more positive value back than the Amex Platinum. So you have the $200 FHR credit. I give $0 to that. $240 entertainment credit, which doesn't have Spotify, which is the only streaming service I have, so $0 for that. $200 airline fee credit. I think I might be able to get, if I want to be conservative about it, I'll give it about a $120 value. $200 of Uber Cash, I'll give about $160 of value. $100 Saks credit, I've seen some people get wallets and cologne on this stuff, which I'll say $30. Walmart Plus credit, I'm getting $0 of value back. Clear credit, I'd probably only pay $50 for this benefit, and I'd probably never even use it, so maybe even less. Equinox credit, $0. So I'm left with an effective annual fee on the Amex Platinum for me of $335. So as you can see by the numbers, there's a clear distinction between the rumored Chase Sapphire Reserve and even the current one versus the Amex Platinum. Because the current Chase Sapphire Reserve, I'm breaking even, and on the rumored one, I'd be getting $205 back in my pocket. Whereas the Amex Platinum, I'm still paying $335 effectively. So in my own personal situation, the Chase Sapphire Reserve, either current or rumored, is much better than the Amex Platinum for me. I hope you guys kind of enjoyed that math, but one other thing I wanted to bring up is that with these rumored changes to the Sapphire Reserve, it makes having the Chase Ink Preferred a bit more enticing. This is due to the Chase Sapphire Reserve losing its broad 3x on travel, which the Ink Preferred also has. Now, it's up to you whether you want to add another $95 annual fee to your arsenal, but I thought it was worth a mention, as I'm sure some people could definitely get use out of this 3x multiplier, if it gets removed from the Chase Sapphire Reserve, of course. So with these rumored changes, I'm actually getting positive value back from the Chase Sapphire Reserve. So do I plan on holding this card if these changes come into effect? Well, yes and no. I'll definitely keep this card open to get all the extra credits, but once this new $795 fee hits my account, I think I'm going to be downgrading the card. I really don't like credit cards that make you work so hard just to get ahead by $200. Yes, the lounge access would put me a bit more ahead, but not by a lot. I find these rumor changes to just not be that good, and I think instead of killing the Amex Platinum, Chase has potentially killed the Sapphire Reserve. What was once a very easy to use card with just a travel credit and some DoorDash credits if you use them has become just as annoying, if not more, than the Amex Platinum. Now, are people going to pay that $795 fee year over year? You betcha. But I will not be one of the people to do so. So that's all I have for y'all today. So I've concluded that with both versions of the Chase Sapphire Reserve, I come out a lot better when compared to the Amex Platinum. In my own situation, of course. And the rumored Chase Sapphire Reserve actually gives me positive value while being conservative with the credits. But even so, I don't see myself paying $795 to prepay for all these credits, especially at 21 years old. I could just get them without the card and be fine. And though I'd be missing out on the Chase Sapphire lounge access at airports, by the time I cancel, I'll probably have the Ritz-Carlton credit card, which also would get me into these lounges for just a $450 annual fee. So I'm going to give a hard pass on these rumored CSR changes. I feel Chase really could have done something better with this one. I'm going to be honest, I feel a lot of people are going to be canceling this card. Although the Amex Platinum signups are higher than ever, I don't think Chase has that same wow factor when it comes to credit cards. Sure, some people are going to get it just because it's expensive, more expensive than the current Amex Platinum, but until culture shifts, I think Amex will always be known as a superior to Chase. Those were my thoughts, but let me know what you think in the comments below. If you want to lock in that lower $550 annual fee on the Chase Sapphire Reserve before it goes up, I have a link to sign up in the description below, and it's one of the best ways to help support the free content on this channel. I hope you guys got some value from this video, and if you did, please consider leaving a like and subscribing because just like credit card points, it's free. Apparently only 10% of you guys are subscribed, so let's try and get that number up a bit. If you want to see how I got both Chase Sapphire cards, watch this video next. Also, YouTube thinks you'll like this one. I wish you all the best, and I'll see y'all in the next one.